This is Bruce Friedman of Adult Site Broker, and welcome to Adult Site Broker Talk, where each week we interview one of the movers and shakers of the adult industry, and we give you a tip on buying and selling websites. This week we'll be speaking with Shawn Doc of FCKSPACE. We've got an events section on our website. You can find out all about the events in our industry and get discounts on some events. You'll find all that and more at adultsitebroker.com. We're proud to announce our latest project, thewaronporn.com. You'll find articles on age verification laws and other attacks on our industry. It's to raise awareness of our industry's plight in the war on porn. You'll find all that and more at thewaronporn.com. And we're always looking for buyers and sellers of adult sites and companies. Perhaps you've been thinking about either selling your site or buying one. Always feel free to contact us at adultsitebroker.com with any questions you may have. Now time for our properties for sale at Adult Site Broker. We're proud to offer a successful OnlyFans agency. The agency has 15 creators, with 90% of them being on salary, so the agency is highly profitable. They handle all aspects of marketing for the creators, including chatting and promotion, with highly predictable acquisition channels. They do paid advertising for subscriber acquisition. In addition to agency operations, the business has developed a suite of custom-built internal tools that represent significant intellectual property and competitive infrastructure. They have a custom content production pipeline built for synthetic creator content using AI with Telegram chatbot integration for pre-funnel fan engagement. It also offers WhatsApp automation. They use a proprietary analytics, KPI, and sales verification dashboard with link tracking, ad performance data, sales verification, and payout automation. All tools are built entirely in-house and don't depend on third-party SaaS platforms. This technology is a great asset for the buyer to own. We have a rapidly growing SaaS-powered OnlyFans chat agency with strong SEO. The company has over 30 clients with very little churn, ranging from around $10,000 to over $150,000 a month. The company continues to grow and innovate. New technical features include an enhanced chatter portal, a new creator billing dashboard with daily billing, and an automated blog system to grow SEO. The company's set up with very little upkeep needed by the owner. It's a cash cow that's still growing fast. We have the largest foot fetish creator site in the German-speaking market. The site is a leading niche platform that's been the #1 brand in the market for over 3 years. The site is highly profitable with consistent revenue, an established SEO footprint, and strong brand authority in its niche. We have a buyer who's looking for OnlyFans agencies, chatting companies, and OnlyFans traffic sites. He owns one of the top OnlyFans agencies in the world. We're offering a growing free porn gaming site with adult sex games. The site is owned by one of the top entrepreneurs in our industry. We have a premium AI companion platform focused on emotional realism and deep memory. Users interact with lifelike companions that remember every detail, respond with real emotion. They've just added advanced video capabilities. There are more properties for sale on our website. For more information on any of these listings, go to our listings page or contact us at adultsitebroker.com. Now time for this week's interview. My guest today on Adult Site Broker Talk is Shawn Doc of FCKSPACE. Shawn, thanks for being with us on Adult Site Broker Talk.
Thanks so much for having me, Bruce.
It's a pleasure to have you. Shawn is a longtime producer and founder working at the intersection of technology, creator culture, and adult industry innovation. With more than 15 years of experience building production companies, digital tools, and creator-focused platforms, Shawn has become known for identifying gaps in the creator economy and turning them into practical solutions. He's the founder of FCKSPACE, a new booking marketplace designed to give adult creators safe, verified, and judgment-free locations to produce their content. The platform entered public launch in March And following a quiet but fast-growing beta phase, and I should point out that it was March of 2025 since we're in 2026, Shawn has a background in entertainment, Web3, and large-scale content production, and has worked with a wide range of creators and studios. His expertise centers on censorship, platform risk, location access, and the shifting realities of production for adult creators in a post-platform world. FCKSPACE has been covered by outlets such as AVN. So, Shawn, for people who don't know, who are you?
So my name's Shawn. I appreciate the intro. So I'm the founder of FCKSPACE. I also have a production company, and I've been in the entertainment industry my entire life. I've worked with all kinds of creators, artists, and talent from all walks of different, from the entertainment industry. Early on, my family and I, we had a lot of productions, porn productions at our property that we started renting out. And so we had like Wicked and Vivid filming. I've seen behind the scenes from a very early age. And yeah, so I identified a huge need in this market. And so I built something that honestly, the response has been, Bruce, I mean, it's spreading like wildfire. I didn't realize the problem when I created it. Maybe I could tell you kind of how I came up with the idea. It's really funny. So we have a short-term rental, and we had a nice lady booked. And about 30 minutes later, a man on a motorcycle shows up in a tank top. No big deal. 30 minutes after that, windows wide open, and you can just hear them going at it. They're just fucking loud. Right. So okay, cool. No big deal. Sure. Do your thing. Hour later, she comes out. She's half naked, tits popping out, smoking a cigarette in a robe in the driveway. Okay, cool. No big deal. So I'm like, that's, whatever. To each their own. You got to get off.
Okay.
End up, I hop in the car and I'm leaving, and I can see, because the windows and doors were wide open, full production. There was multiple ring lights, multiple cameras, and she didn't care. She was there filming. She didn't give a shit. So I confronted her later and was kind of like, "Hey, what's up? Like, you can't just come in and film. Like, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't want to ask. It was kind of awkward. I didn't think it was a big deal." And I was like, "Well, it's a different type of booking. And if we would have known, it's cool, but it's just, we would have had to known." And she proceeded to tell me that she couldn't, she was afraid to ask because of her people in her circle were getting deplatformed off of platforms like Airbnb for mentioning even an inkling.
Friend of mine had that happen actually when he was filming, so he got banned from Airbnb. Yeah,
I'm all about hearing those stories, so I'd love to hear that story. So that's where I was like, wait a second, what do you mean? And that's when I kind of pulled the cover back and realized that it's like a hidden social score that platforms, specifically, and I'll call them out, Airbnb, are putting on creators and people in general, but we'll talk about adult creators. And so if they detect that they're an adult creator, they're pinged as high risk. So no matter what, they don't even have to use the platform to shoot. And they're finding that they're getting deplatformed. And then when they go to appeal it, because they're high risk and they're an adult creator, there's no appeal. The appeal is like a 14% success rate versus like a 70% success rate on non-adult creators, or high risk, I should say. But yeah, I would love to hear about your friend's story, because I'm always fascinated about new stories. And when it happened too.
I mean, well, this was probably 5-6 years ago, and he was taping, and the landlord got wind of what was going on and reported it to Airbnb, and he got banned from there.
And he probably still can't make an Airbnb account that's tied to his ID. So the problem is, these creators these are normal people. This is their job. This is their living. And there's nothing wrong with it. They're not breaking the law, but because there's this stigma and they're being forced into this box, and then now they're having to sneak around or go behind the backs and not be transparent. And it's because these platforms are being like overly cautious. And it's really because of the payment processors like Chase and stuff with the Airbnb or Visa. They're super strict. So Airbnb is being extra proactive to be like, oh, look, we don't have these creators. We're not even allowing them these high risk profiles, what they're calling them. So that was really the birth of like, well, what happens if there is a space that is totally transparent, that the host and the creators both know what they're doing? And what happens if we, instead of banning creators, we harness it and cherish it and celebrate it? And that's where we're like, well, what would it be called? It would be called FCKSPACE, of course. and so that was really like kind of how the idea came about.
Fuck B&B. That's another possibility. But anyway,
I own the domain.
I bet you do.
Exactly. So it's that sense. So now it's like Airbnb creator, or it's Airbnb for OnlyFans.
Nice. Or for porn shoots, I'm sure.
And full productions, correct. So now I have a few directors and production companies that that's the go-to, because that's where they have a safe place. They don't want to have to worry about their personal accounts getting booked because they're a producer on a porn shoot or a director, and they can't look up on Airbnb, so they make another account. It's a total mess. So now it's a safe place. There's no judgment, and it makes the connection.
That's awesome. What are the main, I'm sure LA and Vegas and Miami are probably where you get most of your business. How widespread is this?
Yeah, Miami, LA, Vegas, those are kind of like the main hubs. We do have a few hosts spread out though through the US. So I'm finding a lot of creators are also listing their properties as well. And it kind of goes hand in hand. So yes, we have different creators that are using their properties like spread out kind of like all through the US specifically. It's little hubs like kind of like so in Texas, mainly in the big cities, Miami, Philadelphia, New York. And New York is a tricky one, but LA, correct. And then the creators are widespread. And then we also have a lot of people that have signed up that are worldwide. So I'm finding UK, Spain, Brazil, Canada. So people are interested all over. We haven't rolled out international yet. We're still just domestic, but that's definitely the plan this year.
How do you find your properties?
So I've reached out in the early beta stages. It's just reaching out and saying, hey, we want to be a part of this early beta. And there's a lot of properties that I found that are like, not like sex dungeons, but like people are listing their properties for people to come and fuck in. And but they're listing their own websites because they can't really post it on Airbnb or VRBO or PureSpace or Gigster. So finding the mom and pop shops, reaching out directly. And then I'm getting a lot of people that are just signing up, that are finding. So they're reading the publications, word of mouth, and they're submitting to be hosts. And all hosts have to be verified. So you can't just come in and list a property, and creators as well. So you can't just you can submit to list your property, and then we go through your application and we make sure we line by line it. And this is after you've verified you verified your ID and your age and all that good stuff.
That's cool. So do you find a lot of people outside the industry that are listing their places?
I mean, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of, like my family when I was 18, I'm 33 now. We were, renting out for porn shoots. My parents didn't care. They're very open, and we didn't care. It wasn't a big deal. So there's a lot of people like that in the world that don't care. And sure, some people don't want anyone to go fuck on their couch or whatever, or at all, then don't list it. It's not for you.
Exactly. Tell me exactly how FCKSPACE works from beginning to end.
Sure. So we could do this. So there's two sides. There's the host and the creator side. So we can walk you through the creator side. If you're a creator, adult content creator, or porn production company, you submit to join and you create a profile. You verify your ID, verify your age. And once you get accepted, you can then browse the marketplace for listings in your area or whichever city you're looking for. Once you find a listing you like, you can check the calendar. It's the same thing as any booking platform like PureSpace or Airbnb. If it's available, you can message the host, and if it's all good, you can book right then. You put in your credit card information, and it processes it, secured process. And then you're confirmed. And then same thing, you have check-in, check-out instructions. We also have a location agreement that creators are able to download that they can use to prove that they had proof to film at that location. So OnlyFans requires the rights to film in any location. And that's another hurdle that these creators are having, because if they're secretly filming, they're not getting the rights. So easy one-click button there, so they can present it if need be. And then, they just go about the booking, check in, check out, and easy, seamless. And the same thing on for the host side. If you're a host, you would apply to be a host. You would fill out the application with your property, and our team would look over it. And if you got approved, then you would have access to, you'd get into the back end. You'd be listed on the marketplace, so you can found. And then if you get a message, you can respond. You can accept, decline, and then everything is right then and there. And once you set all of your pricing and you set all the parameters. And once it's booked, we pay out is upon check-in. So once the guest checks in, and so then they don't have to do anything. They just connect all of their back-end information once it's confirmed. They can go in and fill out the back-end, and they don't have to think about it. So they're getting automatic payouts to their accounts.
Nice. Something you mentioned about OnlyFans policies. Let's say somebody rents an apartment. Do they have to get the approval of the property owner to tape in those places?
It's a great question. And I bet, I'm not a lawyer, but I would say probably, unless they own it, they would probably need the rights. And if you're a landlord, and I'm curious how a landlord would feel, imagine if you were charging somebody a few grand a month and they're making, $15,000 a month.
Well, not only that, but we know that porn is taboo to so many people, and so many creators have lost their place of residence when the landlord found out what they do.
Right. It's just such a taboo.
Yeah. And of course it shouldn't be. Of course, fucking is what got us all here, putting it in a crass way. But unfortunately, that's just the way of the world. And we see all the attacks on our industry. In fact, something you might not be aware of, I've got a website called thewaronporn.com, and it has all of the age verification issues and other attacks that have been coming against our industry all over the world. So it's something that I'm very tuned into, and I'm constantly seeing articles pop up in different media about one thing happening or another. And one of those things is that people are getting kicked out of their places.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I'm looking at the site is great. I'm looking at the waronporn.com right now. This is an awesome site.
I'm glad you like it. It was a low budget operation.
Hey, it's easy though. It gets the job done. It tells you what you need, and it covers the important topics. That's really where FCKSPACE was born. Was like, at first I was like, oh, this is a cool idea. And then all of a sudden, as soon as I pulled the veil back, I was like, whoa, this isn't just an idea. This is a tool for a problem that is even 5 years. I'm trying to track when it started, how long Airbnb's actually been doing this to creators, and being deplatformed.
I think it's in their terms and conditions, actually.
Right. It is. And now with the rise of OnlyFans and, individual models, where do you go when you outgrow your bedroom, or where you're filming? So you can't always, once you have a fan base, you got to be able to you got to mix it up, and you can't afford a big lavish trip or and then sneaking Airbnb and risking getting banned off of Airbnb for life. It's not worth it. So it's very challenging.
Sounds like you've come up with a great solution. What problems were you seeing creators run into over and over? Is it more of the same of what we've been talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really getting kicked off of. I think the biggest thing that shocked me is getting kicked off platforms for not even filming. And even if and just getting banned and then not being able to, not having any recourse to get back on the platform, whatever platform it is.
Yeah, you can't even go on vacation and use Airbnb.
Exactly. Now your entire life is being affected. So now you're gonna rethink everything, and that's just not. I don't know. That rubbed me the wrong way, and so I'm like, why isn't there a solution that exists? And nobody had the answer. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll just build it then.
Great idea. Great concept. So on the flip side, what problems were hosts and property owners dealing with?
I can even say for me specifically, as a host, having creators secretly shoot. So the one that we ended up checking out, she stained the couch. There was cum everywhere. We contacted her and we were like, hey, can't get the stain out. Oh, sorry. And we were like, oh my God, like, what do you mean? So like, not only were,
Oh God.
and so she put out the video. She didn't care. Good for her. So yeah, so that I think is one of the issues. And then, so people secretly shooting, I think is a big problem. And then also getting, property ruined or whatever. But with FCKSPACE, we have a cleaning protocol. So like your team, if you have your own team, they have to agree to the certain protocol that they're bringing a certain level of cleanliness and for each turnover, so that there's that level of, your property is going to be taken care of.
I would imagine that there's deposits.
It's based on the property. If you don't have to have a deposit if you don't want, or if you want to set a security deposit, you can.
Would think that'd be a good idea in this case.
It's not bad. I mean, with my properties too, I have security deposits. It's always good to be safe than sorry. But when we have with our creators, with a verified creator profile, and you can see that they have great reviews and they're not leaving the place messy, then you might not require a deposit with that creator.
Okay. So that problem is taken care of with the deposits. And now how are you taking care of the problems for the creators?
I mean, I think the first thing is really the transparency, like a place to, they don't have to guess. They don't have to hide. They're not hiding and sneaking around. So now they can just be totally open with what they're doing. Yeah, I got a gangbang with 4 dudes. I'm by myself. Coming in with me and my friend, whatever it is, they can be totally open and there's no judgment. So it's really breaking down the walls for them and allowing the easy, safe entry,
so to speak.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And no pun intended.
Of course not. Of course not.
That's a good one. Maybe I'll change up. I mean, one of our mission or taglines.
Why not? Put it in quotations. What was the hardest part about getting this thing off the ground?
I think it's just getting the word out. Really early stages. So we're in the early, seed stage, and we don't have big investors. We don't have a lot of money. So I don't have a huge marketing budget to get the word out as fast and as loud as I would like. But the organic growth is definitely, it's gotten enough to my attention where I've built enough companies and enough apps in my life where I could tell when something is organic and is catching fire and needs full babying. And this is definitely that, where it's serving a totally, totally underserved market. And it's fucked up. It was really fucked up. That's that's the biggest part that kind of pissed me off. Like I'm not a creator. I'm not going and, I'm not an OnlyFans model, but what the fucking man is doing to the fucking little guy, fuck that. You know what I mean? That's where that
unfortunately
really
it happens to people in our industry every day. The deplatforming, the financial discrimination, which there was just a good decision made in I believe it was in Congress about financial discrimination, where they've Trump signed a bill. Trump did something good. Trump signed a bill that about financial discrimination, and I guess the language was spelled out, and the adult industry was included, which the Free Speech Coalition was thrilled about. I was thrilled about, and it was something that we mentioned in the War on Porn as well. And so, yeah, I mean, we just have to fight every chance we get to try to keep the industry from getting sucked under by, as you said, the man. It gets pretty ridiculous, actually.
Yeah, and I didn't even realize. I had no idea, Bruce. I really didn't, and it shocked me.
Well, nothing shocks me anymore, unfortunately. What's been the reaction from creators since you started showing them the platform?
I mean, it's really positive. Everything I've been hearing back is just extremely positive. The main reaction, number one thing I'm hearing is somebody finally built this. Thank you. And that was one of my biggest shocks when I first built this, was that I was waiting for somebody to be like, oh, you mean so-and-so, or oh, you mean that one company that such and such, there didn't exist. So I was like, oh, okay, great. Like, well, let's see what happens when we give a solution to this problem. And it's just been all positive.
Oh, that's fantastic. How about from property owners? What have they said?
Yeah, I mean, property owners, their reactions are the same, right? So it's any host that want to come and host their property, nobody's forcing you to list your property. So it's just another Airbnb host. It's another platform to list. So for me, if somebody came and said, hey, you're listed on Airbnb, VRBO, PeerSpace, Gigster, why not FuckSpace? Let's FuckSpace. I'd be like, oh, of course, absolutely. So hosts, they love it. There hasn't been, no issues. They love the structure. They love that they have the protection built in. They're not discriminating against. They're not the ones that are discriminating against these creators. You know what I mean? They don't have anything against an OnlyFans model or a porn production company. It's Airbnb that's like, oh no, you're not allowed to even talk to our host. So most hosts they're totally cool.
Yeah. No, absolutely. You mentioned marketing being a challenge. How have you marketed so far to creators?
It's just organic outreach. So we have a street team and then word of mouth. So I've talked to a few big creators. I have a couple that I'm speaking with that love the project and want to get behind it. So it's getting just finding the right, I'm going to call them pockets, and getting the word out in those pockets and then having it spread like fire. So right now it's really just outreach and just cold outreach to different creators.
And it's been the same thing with property owners?
For the most part. But that's our hardcore marketing strategy, right? And because we're not putting any paid dollars behind. We're reaching out to anybody that wants to talk about the problem. And we're just, telling everybody that we can. And we're seeing the reactions kind of spreading.
Great. What's something people misunderstand about adult creators that you wish more people knew?
That one's easy. I think what people misunderstand about adult creators is really how professional they are. Like, I'm a producer. I've run dozens of commercials and short films and documentaries, and with big crews, small crews, and adult creators are just as professional, if not more, about their craft. Then it's a real business. It's a content creation. It's a real full-on business. It's scheduling, it's planning, it's teams, it's investment, it's consistency, commitment, the whole deal. So like, they're full-on entrepreneurs. They're full business by themselves. And in my opinion, deserve the same respect and infrastructure that everybody else does and every other creator gets.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. What's your personal connection to the creator world, and why do you care about supporting them?
Yeah, I mean, I think we touched a little bit on it. I think it's like, right when I was young, 18, 19, I remember I have a great story. I had there was a big porn shoot. I think maybe it was like 5 or 6 beautiful women getting done up in makeup at 9 o'clock in the morning in the kitchen. And I go downstairs in my robe. I'm 18 years old. I had tattoos. I just walk in and, what's up, ladies? Grab a bowl of cereal, walk back. And I was like, I saw this one beautiful. I was like, okay, this is great. And then being in my bedroom and looking out and seeing, a full lesbian scene out in the driveway, to, having, Tommy Gunn and, oh man, I'm blanking on her name. Yeah, we had some big stars come through and, meeting all of them. I even shot one was great. I shot a public service announcement with Monique Alexander, and it was for, and it won a Shorty Award, education on porn. But hey, parents, talk to your kids about porn before I do. And it did great. It was a great, public service announcement. So I've been kind of in the space naturally behind the scenes for, almost 15 years at this point. It was very organic.
It's quite an introduction to the industry at 18.
Yeah, I have a couple stories. I don't know if I could say them. I think my wife might be listening to this podcast. So.
Maybe not. Understand.
I'll tell you offline. How about that?
Sounds like a plan. What's the bigger vision here beyond just bookings? What does this look like in a year or two?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's FuckSpace is going to become a full ecosystem. So where we have, verified vendors, production crews, insurance, permits. I even envision it like if you want to have add-ons to your production where you want to have security come do a shoot, if you want to find a crew that can come and shoot that's verified, so you don't have to worry about finding a videographer or finding, whatever, being able to have it as a one-stop shop. FCKSPACE is the trusted place to go for adult creators.
Mm-hmm. And there's really nothing like that.
No, it doesn't exist. These creators are running their business out of fear. So I want to give them an infrastructure that frankly should have existed 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. So if someone wants to either rent out a property or be a host, how would they go about it?
Yeah, just head over to FCKSPACE.com to sign up.
FCKSPACE?
That's it. FCKSPACE.com.
Okay. Do you have like a web app?
No web app. So it's all online. I wanted to avoid with iOS and app. It's the same problem. I mean, even with OnlyFans, it's just being pinged as soon as it's a high risk. Yep, you're done. So I was like, I might as well not put energy into getting deplatformed myself.
Yeah, that could be a little bit of a problem. Why do you think the industry needs something like FCKSPACE right now?
Really, it's because from what I'm seeing is that creators are being like cut off and restricted everywhere they go, from not even from rental sites, but payment processors, from social media platforms to whatever. So everybody wants the traffic and the revenue from this industry and from them, but nobody wants the responsibility. So everybody's like, oh, I don't want to touch it. So there needs to be a platform that owns it, that stands with the creators and gives them some sort of stability that they don't have to worry about the rest of their life being exercised from,
Mm-hmm. So how do you see this growing? Do you see it just growing organically, or do you plan to start some kind of a marketing push?
I want to do a marketing push for sure. 2026 is the year. Absolutely. This year is, we will absolutely. If you haven't heard of us by this podcast, you absolutely will. And I really just wanted to establish the organic network first and the people and the support before doing the big push and the big splash to the world.
Sure. And everything's been positive so far.
It's been great. Everybody, it's absolutely positive, Bruce. I mean, I'm so excited to roll it out globally. I mean, it's only a matter of time and the world needs it and everybody wants it. And I'm blessed I'm always looking for solutions to problems. And I'm stoked that I found one that's like such a big problem that I was able to bridge for.
What does the international rollout look like, and when do you see it happening?
I don't want to speak too much on it, just because we want to make sure we have all of our ducks in a row. But we have quite a few signups all over the world from, I want to say, 20 plus countries at this point. And so it's really identifying the biggest markets to roll out and figuring out the legalities around it, really, with the EU. It's a whole different monster.
It really is. I mean, it's very different.
Yep. And so I'll be out. I'm confirmed as a speaker at a TES in Marbella in March. So we'll have a couple seminars that I'll be hosting. So yeah, we'll be out there, and that's kind of where I'm looking to start making some Europe connections and hope to start getting some guidance on exactly how to tackle the EU monster.
That's a great way to do it. TES is a real phenomenal show.
Is it? Okay, good. Yeah, I've heard good things. I've never been personally. It's my first time going out, so me and the team are super excited.
Yeah, I've been tons of times, so it's a fabulous show. It's a really fabulous show. Well, Shawn, I'd like to thank you for being with us on Adult Site Broker Talk, and I hope we'll get a chance to do this again soon, where you can tell me about all the updates.
Absolutely. Thanks, Bruce. I appreciate you having me. And we'll talk again.
Thank you. My broker tip today is part 3 of what to do to make your site more valuable for when you decide to sell it later. Last week, we talked about making a good offer and how to structure your site. Next, keep your website design up to date. Do a redesign from time to time. People will tend to think your site is the same as ever and click out of it without even looking at it if something doesn't change. So keep it fresh and up to date. Times change, so should your website. Look at what your competitors are doing and see what it is you really like. If you know a site to be successful, Look at what it is they're doing and do some of the same things. I'm not saying copy their sites. I'm just suggesting you improve your site by looking around a bit. You've got to keep up with the times or you'll end up being left behind. Also, keep an eye on your competition and make sure you're offering everything on your site that they are or more. Don't just look at their design, but make sure your offers are good and competitive. The same goes for your content. Do you ever wonder why one site does well and others don't? Check out the competition's content. What are they doing that you're not doing? Be willing to make changes. People can't understand why they're losing sales to a competitor, yet the competitor is clearly doing everything better. Emulate success. Make sure everything on your website works well. Make sure all your links work properly. Check them on a regular basis. If things don't work, you'll lose customers. People are not patient these days. People's attention spans are like that of a gnat. They click out immediately and go to the next result in Google if they don't find what they're looking for, if the site is hard to navigate, or if things don't work. Check all your internal scripts and plugins and make sure they're updated regularly as well. We'll talk about this subject more next week. And next week we'll be speaking with George Farmigas of Icon. And that's it for this week's Adult Site Broker Talk. I'd once again like to thank my guest, Shawn Doc of FCKSPACE. Talk to you again next week on Adult Site Broker Talk. I'm Bruce Friedman.